Today on PTL, the most recent information on Xiao and Forgiven's future. Chat embraces the power of evil in League of Learning. And we take you on a magic carpet ride. Oh! League Time Prime starts right now!
Hey, Rid, are you okay?
Charms up, good flash by Altsec, but the flash Q, the pentakill for Shifter!
The Copenhagen Wolves will cause the biggest upset of the summer split, taking down H2K!
Aún solo golpe y último impacto, el encanto que le fue y esto, pentakill!
Hello and welcome to another edition of Primetime League. I'm Rivington Bisson III here to bring you the biggest news as we close in on the home stretch of the summer split. We start out with the latest news out of North America as Riot has confirmed that Team Impulse's mid laner Xiao is suspended while he is under investigation for elo boosting. Riot is taking this investigation very seriously, and it could have dire consequences for the former LCS MVP and his second-place team as they head into the final weeks of the summer split. And there's another player who won't be competing this week. In the European LCS, Gambit's AD carry Forgiven has been suspended for 4 games. That means he will be sitting out the final 2 games of the European LCS summer split and the first 2 games of the playoffs if Gambit is able to lock in a spot. The suspension is for failing to meet the behavior standards outlined in the rules of the LCS. This is the same thing he was fined for last year. And while Forgiven sits out, Gambit have added former Super Hot Crew member Moops to the lineup. To talk a little bit about what this will mean for Gambit and their chances in the postseason, let's bring in EpicSkillshot reporter and Trevor Quickshot Henry.
Thank you so much, Riv. Well, Forgiven is out for Gambit, and if we take a look at the bench or some of the people they could have brought in, could have been Steelback, Pinoy, Genja, sadly not Genja.
No Time Lord, but there's a lot of 80 carries on their bench.
Yeah, definitely. But they went with someone who isn't an 80 carry main, rather Moops. He's also Belgian, so good Belgian influx there. But he's a mid main. We remember him from the Super Hot Crew. He has been playing a lot of support. It's still interesting to me because are you just going to throw him in as 80 carry?
It's really difficult. Mid lane player, does Betsy change role? We saw it happen for Giants earlier in the split, but for Gambit, it's going to be a difficult situation. I think Gambit, they're still in the running for playoffs, and as a team, they didn't actually play around Forgiven. They're very, very focused around their jungle and top. Diamond camping for Cabashot, getting him ahead, and Forgiven traditionally has played cleanup. A lot of Corki, a lot of the janitor role that we've seen from other 80 carries in the EU LCS. So Gambit, they're in with a shot. Moops is in, and he's going to have to step up to help them qualify.
Yeah, we can't tell anything for sure. We'll see what happens.
Now let's move from the biggest news of the week to the most electrifying game of the week.
Yeah, honestly, Riv, this game had more electrons than any other game I've seen all year.
You know, when you're on, but not this time. We're talking about the North American clash between C9 and CLG, where Cloud9 wanted to prove that they still have some thunder left as they face Chronologic Gaming, and I think we heard some rumbling.
Oh man, it was super loud up there. Car alarms went off. This was an absolutely amazing
Raining
game.
cats and dogs.
Cloud9 had won 2 games in a row. They were looking actually pretty good. And Incarnation, where was he all year? Well, he was here in the mid lane. Look at that one.
The confidence to make these plays, I feel like after this play he said to himself, he's like, oh, I can do this. Yeah, I can do this.
It's pretty much like Incarnation was one of the best mid laners in Europe in Season 3, people thought. And he went back to playing Season 3 Champions, and he had some pretty good games. But Zion Spartan hero play knocks out Incarnation absolutely, and it just means easy cleanup here for CLG.
Yep.
You know, Sneaky does what he can, but he's only one person.
Only one person, and he goes down. Pretty much with the rest of the team here. Very hectic fight. Chronologic Gaming taken in the mid lane with Cloud9. Fight after fight after fight.
Yeah, fight after fight. Riv.
Oh, here's
Even after
another one.
that battle, they were 3,000 gold down. Now they're 5,000 gold down. Chronologic Gaming with Zion Spartan. Again, trying to make the big play. Incarnation, you know, they get a little bit of lockup, and then here's Sneaky. This is beautiful. He tries so hard.
This would be like the play of the year.
Here we go. Now watch his body slam. You ready? Oh, just barely tags him. Sneaky had flash up. He didn't think he needed it to dodge Smithy, and that was a very clutch one. This game went the distance, though. An absolute brutal game. CLG did, though, eventually win.
He could have went like any other way, back or forth, but he went right into the body slam, which wouldn't have hit him considering if he...
He went sideways, honestly.
Easy to say now.
Smithy aimed actually perfectly. I don't think there was actually a single way Kalista could have jumped to have dodged body slam. I think he would have had to flash, but he was hoping that if Smithy would guess he goes this way, so he went that way, and you know he got hit.
Crazy stuff. Well, we've seen a lot of action in North America this summer as the standings have gone topsy-turvy. And that game was one of the craziest. Was it the most intense game of the split? Do we feel that was the best game?
I think it was definitely the most intense. And not just because the game was really awesome. There were a whole bunch of kills back and forth. Like, at the very end of the game, there were like 3 team fights back to back to back. But honestly, the story coming to this game was so important. Cloud9.
Yeah.
Oh my God, maybe they were coming back, right? Maybe they're gonna get 7th place. Maybe they're gonna make the gauntlet. Maybe they'll make that run towards Worlds at the last possible hour. They'd won 2 games in a row. CLG had stopped their own slump. They were winning as well. CLG was maybe actually a good team. So the fans of both these squads could be like, my team is back! My team is back! Oh my God! And then the Cloud9 fans were like, no, what is happening? Oh, this is a nightmare. But that was what made the game so interesting, was these teams were finally doing well again.
Absolutely crazy. The ever-looming 70 championship points that could be completely lost if things don't go right. Stuff is crazy and very intense in the NALCS right now. Meanwhile, we've got the sounds of the split, both good and bad, right here on Mic Check.
Do you guys love League of Legends?
Yeah, I love League of Legends.
We love League of Legends here at Enemy Esports.
Are you guys ready?
For what?
Let's get this out of the way.
Happy birthday, dear Gideon. I hate you guys.
If you wanna be the very best, if you wanna be my baby.
We don't actually want to be the very best. We don't win one game.
Just finish.
We won! Yes!
I won a fucking game!
No.
Good night, baby. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Hello, my name is Popstar Eddie.
Oh, your name is not Popstar Ari.
Okay. Pronto.
I'm over here now. Fighting. Back.
Oh, go. Nice, Gamsu. Okay,
Go. Okay, I'm back.
Go.
3 seconds.
Go.
Corner, Penta.
Penta.
Nice. Okay, calm down. Okay, I'm coming, Greg.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Lucian.
I can't follow up.
3 seconds. Game plan. Get it. Gragas.
That's game.
Finish. No! I can go on.
Good job, guys.
That's the sound from solo queue, baby.
Nice.
That's the sound we got
surprised to join you. Shit.
That's it.
Get the 5 goals from Tuna.
I love you guys.
Vadas, come share.
Finish, guys. Come on. Please.
Okay.
Nice.
Pentas feel good.
Yeah, I like how with 2 pentakills, the guy who was most excited was the AD carry of a guy watching a guy get a pentakill. Well, the one who gets the 5, but now just like, oh yeah, I got a head of rocket, I got an assist there.
Be happy. Yeah, it's the assist.
I'm real happy right now.
I had a part in that.
Pentasist.
So with the #1 seed in the European playoffs already locked in by Fnatic, that meant there was only one more bye up for grabs. The 2 teams with the best shot heading into last week's games were 2nd place Origin and 3rd place H2K. First up was Origin, as Speke and crew were trying to separate themselves from H2K to give their 2nd place some padding when they faced off against Gambit.
Gambit had just been trying to find a way to get their team together, and this actually started out pretty decently. Diamond on the Nidalee definitely having a pretty good set of games. So has good flash to get away, but you know, Cabochard has just continued to be a very good player. Betsy roaming up on the Jace as well, and suddenly Origin realized that, wait, Peke's still mid. Oh, I guess it's bad for us then.
Forced to go the wrong way, trying to get out of a scary situation, and that really started to snowball Gambit. Things did not go well from here. SOAS keeps getting pressured. You can just see how dejected he is after this play even, and that kind of snowballed the game for him as well.
And this is such a greedy dive by Diamond. Like, all right, I'm going to go over this one against the Shen ulti. He's still kind of on the wrong side of the map, but you get a kill. Looks good, absolutely. So there's something there for you. Cabochard, again, a great home guard TP, and Peke can't even cast a spell before dying.
Very strong play by Gambit. The kind of team we used to know as old. When they get a control of the map, you own none of it for the rest of the game.
I like how Ghost Pepper, that was awesome. That was complete Ghost Pepper status.
The mobile cow.
Yeah, headbutt a minion, flash and ignite the guy and be like, yeah, bye Corky. It's really an impressive game.
It's the things that a lot of team, and we saw in the CLG C9 game, that just take chances towards the end of the split. Why didn't this stuff happen before, right? Maybe you would have had that extreme lead in your games all the time.
Yeah. I mean, right now they're sitting around the middle of the pack. Right now, 6 and 8 is about where every other playoff hopeful is. It's just been a really tough split for all these middle teams, and you know, coming together, trying to learn things out. Forgiven says you can't play the same way anymore because the meta changed and you can't just be a hard carry AD. And slowly but surely, the game is getting better.
They are indeed. Thanks to Origin's upset loss there, all H2K had to do was now beat the Copenhagen Wolves to pull into a tie for second place. Easy game, easy life, right? See how this went. H2K was 10-6, Copenhagen Wolves 2-13. Working off a little bit of momentum of a win. Hopefully they can carry that.
Yeah, I mean, all it would take here would be a win to kind of get secure their own destiny. They could win out to guarantee a top 2 spot here. But Copenhagen Wolves, for some reason, just decided they're going to start winning games. And you know, you heard them in the mic check. They said, we don't want to be the best. We just want to win a single game. And what's happening? Lenny, a great ulti right there. Pick off a jungler. And for some reason, man, Copenhagen Wolves, it's working out for him. Freeze on the Caitlyn.
Yep.
Doing some work.
Pulled out the Elise. They have the Rumble, the Aurelia mid lane, which was a fun matchup to watch versus the Victor Aurelia throughout the entire thing. Plays, though. Jesui Koss coming through with the flash hook onto Ryu, and this is when things really started to fall apart. You think you're in a good situation. You might be coming back, but they're still just right there under your skin.
And the thing is, you can still see some of the weaknesses of the Copenhagen Wolves lineup, especially when they had a bunch of new players joined in. Though they're up like a massive number of gold, they're really not up that much gold.
No,
which
they're
makes
not.
This game incredibly difficult. It's Baron and Dragon 5 that's finally required to win this game out, and even still it was close. Of course, a well-deserved win at Copenhagen Wolves, and really just solid game overall.
It's the howl has not been something we've heard that often this season.
This would be the third howl of the split.
That's correct.
It's unfortunately been a very rough split for Wolves, but hey, at least pick up a win.
Well, maybe the pack can get back into order. With just 1 week left now in the European LCS Summer Split, here are the current standings. Fnatic continues their quest for the first perfect season in LCS history. Doesn't suck, right?
Yeah.
Now at 16-0, and will head into the postseason as the #1 seed.
Meanwhile, Origin and H2K will join them in those playoffs. However, Europe is, you know, the possibility for extra games, it's really high. It's LCS. What else could you expect? So teams from the Unicorns of Love down to SK Gaming all have a shot, and we're probably going to see some extra games at the end of it all.
That's right. And to talk about those playoff chances and to get the hype going, let's bring back Shox and QuickShot.
Yeah, hype here in the playoff race for Europe. I want to start with our second place race, though, between Origin and H2K. Origin is currently in second place, holding that H2K in third. And, of course, they want that all-important bye, and they are competing in our game of the week.
It's so important because at the moment, Origin owns the head-to-head. They beat H2K all the way back in week 1. If H2K beat Origin, it means we're going to have a tiebreaker for that second place spot. And like you said, Shox, instant buy into the semifinals, top 4 championship points is a lot to play for.
So important. And woohoo, tiebreakers. But to me, outside of that second place, the rest of the table is super, super interesting here in Europe. If we take a look at the standings outside of that top 3 and the untouchable Fnatic, so much left to be decided.
Yeah, really, the middle of the table is the most interesting. There's like 5 teams that are playing for those 3 spots in playoffs. Technically speaking, SK are still in there with an outside shot, but they're going to take down Fnatic. And it's the rest of the squads that we're looking at, Roccat, Giants, UOL, to see who is actually going to take those positions.
Yeah, and for me, Roccat is an absolute contender, and I feel like it's very important to them because they've had such an on and off season. They played the Copenhagen Wolves, they play OG, they've taken down OG in very, very, very impressive fashion a couple of weeks ago. I think they have it in them.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you why you're wrong, because you're forgetting the fact that Elements are there. Elements have been showing up more, Froggen's been performing. They are the team that are looking to take out the 9th place SK, and they're playing Gambit, a team with subs. If they hit that 8-10 record, they're in the running for tiebreakers. They're in the running to make it.
I want to stop you right there because they are, okay, they're totally not out of it yet, Elements, but they are going to need a lot of magic. If you talk about magic, the Unicorns of Love, even thinking of them in a playoff scenario is always exciting because what they can do. And honestly, Julius is in there now. They did manage to beat Gambit in spectacular fashion with that Orianna Rune Glaive last week. So, I mean, Unicorns, you can never not mention them.
Okay, fine. If we're going to play this game, then that also means we're going to talk about Giants. They're up there. They've been in the 4th place contender. They had a shaky week, but they're also in the running. They play Unicorns of Love and the Copenhagen Wolves. And seeing as both teams are looking at these different squads, I don't know who's going to make it. There's so much on the line. What I am going to say is it's time for you to put your money where your mouth is. And I think you need to lock in your playoff bracket and your predictions. So, ladies first.
All right. Okay. Pull it up. Let's take a look because I already decided who I think will be in there. I think Unicorns of Love is going to take 4th seed. They're actually in 4th seed already, up against Rocket in 5th. Then H2K and Gambit in the other side of the bracket, meaning that there will be a semi-final between Fnatic and the Unicorns of Love. Fnatic victorious, and in the other semi-final, I see H2K versus OG. In the end, though, Fnatic takes it all for me, and then the 3rd place match is between H2K and the Unicorns of Love.
Well, I'm going to tell you mine, and I think it's a little more accurate because it represents elements who are going to make it into the top 6. They will be taking my 5th seed because I'm seeing a 3-way tiebreaker down in the bottom half. They're going to win that tiebreaker, get themselves higher up. They will face Unicorns, who I think they will then defeat. Origin and Rocket, I don't think that's too surprising. We're in a little bit of agreement there that Nukeduck's been playing well.
Yeah.
And as the bracket plays out, H2K I also see taking 3rd, Fnatic to win it over Origin. So there's my predictions for the summer split and for the playoffs.
So we have Fnatic winning it, both of us in the end, but a lot of, I think, in between. By the way, Fnatic still on course for 18-0. The last game on Friday of the regular season, if we don't have tiebreakers, is Fnatic
It's not going to happen. I think you're wrong.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see.
And while the games this week will determine who will be competing in those playoffs or breaking records, the stakes are high across the premier regions with an incredible slate of games scheduled for this weekend. So with that in mind, let's highlight a BF week of BF games. Kicking things off, Fnatic will be competing for the first ever perfect season in LCS history. And that record-setting cap to the summer will be against their final opponents in the split, the Unicorns of Love. Fnatic has completely owned the standings this split and have been in first place since week 1. Their current record of 16-0 is already one for the LCS books, and no doubt they are hungry for more right now. But here's a fun fact for you. Fnatic's last regular season loss was against the Unicorns of Love back in week 8 of the spring season, and the Unicorns also took 2 games off of Fnatic in the spring split finals before Fnatic won it 3-2. The Unicorns, on the other hand, have nearly mirrored their own spring split performance in the regular season here. They have never ranked higher than 3rd place, and the team has gone 1-1 for the past 3 weeks. But they aren't out just yet, and they will definitely head into this week looking to lock in a playoff spot. Of course, in order to make it to that final game against the Unicorns, still undefeated, Fnatic will have to first take down SK Gaming. Looking back at those games, Fnatic actually had a much closer game versus SK. But that game against the Unicorns this summer was a slaughter, with Fnatic getting a 15 KDA. So if history repeats itself there, this might mean the first perfect split in LCS history. If Fnatic manages to take down both SK Gaming and the Unicorns of Love, it will put them on a level with the only other team to have a perfect split, SKT. SKT entered the Korean winter season as both the OGN Summer Champions and the World Champions after winning the Summoners Cup, and then went a perfect 15-0 in the winter season. Crazy stuff. Fnatic, you just need to win your games this weekend, sweep the playoffs, win Worlds, and then come back and dominate the 2016 spring split. We believe, right?
With Fnatic's streak in mind, we need to blow the dust off of something we asked you guys 4 weeks ago. That was, which team will snap Fnatic's current winning streak? Now, that question still has no correct answers, so if you want to give it another shot or a first shot and update your early response on a new one, now is your chance. Although we might have to wait even longer to find out if anyone gets that right. My money? Still on Edward Gaming. We'll see if that happens at Worlds. Meanwhile, getting a little more current, last week we asked you which player will have the biggest critical strike in the LCS this week. 3 of you were able to get it right, naming Copenhagen Wolves AD carry Freeze as the critical striker. However, for a shot at the Hall of Fame, you had to tell us what damage that critical strike would be, and everyone was super far off, myself included. He crit for 2,981 damage. Freaking gigantic. At least I probably guessed the champion to be Caitlyn, so I mean, that helps, right? Close enough? I guess not. Anyway, we have a new question for you this week. We want you to tell us how many Barons will be killed in the LCS in this week's games. And for a chance to get yourself into the Hall of Fame, tell us how many Barons will have been slain across the entire LCS for the summer split, this week's games included. And for both parts of that question, by the way, we are talking about the normal 180 regular split games. It does not include tiebreakers or remix or anything of the sort. Now, speaking of kills, Power of Evil rolled Oriana's Ball into a pentakill last week against Gambit, and to check out his OP build, Jat's back with a brand new League of Learning.
Hey everyone, Jat here for another episode of League of Learning, and last week, during the final game of EU LCS, with their records tied at 7-8, Unicorns of Love defeated Gambit in 32 minutes behind a spectacular performance by Power of Evil's Oriana. He was 15 of Unicorn's 21 kills, and he did it all with Smite and Nashor's Tooth. So actually, let's look at the rest of his build and figure out exactly what was going on with that game. Taking a look at the runes very first, these are the exact runes that Power of Evil used from his rune page. Ability Power, Split Penetration because of how much he auto-attacks, straight Mana Regen from his yellows, and Magic Resist blues. He can do that because in a standard build, you're not hitting the exact same CDR breakpoints, and a lot of people like bringing CDR per level. So the standard Orianna runes are much more scaling heavy, whereas this rune setup is stronger in the lane. Looking at his masters as well, it's mostly standard 2109 offensive AP masteries, except notice he has the attack speed mastery instead of the CDR. That's mainly because of the breakpoints that he can hit, since he gets 10 CDR from his Runeglaive and 20 CDR from his Nashor's Tooth. Speaking of which, this is the build path that he went through. Notice he gets Sheen first for auto attack trades, Runeglaive with the challenging smite as quickly as possible so he can smite people and extend the trades, Nashor's Tooth next because his auto attacks are very relevant in this build, and then he scales into the standard AP items that not only empower his auto attacks because Orianna has AP scaling due to Clockwork Windup and the Nashor's Tooth, but also so your spells do a lot of damage. On top of that, we want to just look at the comparison for the first 3 items in this build versus a different Orianna build. Runeglaive, Nashor's Deathcap, 8,750 gold. The AP is actually very close across these 2 builds, but notice you get more CDR, and you also get the cool passive from Runeglaive and Nashor's Tooth. And now, remember, he did get a pentakill. So we're going to take a look at that. Note that before this clip, Power of Evil had already used his Shockwave. So this pentakill was achieved without his Oriole. Watch this.
Very quick at poking it down for the Unicorn above. Diamond, he's going in.
They've got to make something happen here. This is the time it counts. Diamond going in, going low, however, and absolutely demolished. Gilius now is going to go for the dunk, but he does manage to grab Cabochard before he falls down as well.
That might be Pyra.
They're going to try to end this one right here. A quadra kill, just like that for the Orianna. Can he secure it up? Yes, he can. A pentakill for Power of Evil.
So we actually looked through that fight many, many times to find out exactly what Power of Evil did and how he picked up each of the 5 kills. So first kill, second kill, third kill, fourth kill, fifth kill. The EA stands for Empowered Auto Attack. That's when he's proccing his Runeglaive on the target, and A is just a normal auto. So the big things to note between the Power of Evil build and a more standard Orianna build is how much auto attack damage he was able to do in this fight, weaving his autos throughout his spells. The total auto damage in that fight before resistances was 4,086. With this other build that doesn't have Nashor's or Runeglaive, it only would have been 2,146. And the ability damage is actually fairly close. So I was blown away when I saw these numbers from Power of Evil and how much more damage he could do with this new strange build when compared to one of the more standard builds. So really weaving his auto attacks in, half of his 8,000 damage that he dealt on that road to the pentakill. So very impressed with this Power of Evil build. In closing, Power of Evil, he is a god. Also, this build is stronger in dueling scenarios because of the Sheen and the early challenging smite. It is stronger in extended fights, as we just saw. Even without his Shockwave, he picks up a pentakill and does 8,000 damage pre-resist. Also, you hit the 40% CDR breakpoint very easily. Runeglaive plus Nashor's Tooth plus Blue Buff is 40. And it's only slightly less AP than the standard build, so you actually don't lose that much out of your burst combo. Very impressed with Power of Evil and his new Orianna build, and that will do it for League of Learning. I hope you learned something.
So we'll have to see if anyone follows in Power of Evil's steps as the BF week of games continues in the LMS. The LMS playoffs will begin this Friday when Hong Kong Esports takes on Midnight Sun Esports. How about some esports with your esports? These 2 teams have met twice before this split, and each series has gone 1-1. But the LMS playoff matches are all a best of 5, and there won't be any ties when these teams meet this time. Here's another fun fact. With Toys and Stanley on Hong Kong Esports and Lul Balls as Midnight Sun's coach, that's 3 former Taipei Assassins Season 2 World Champions in this matchup. Whoever wins, here's the gauntlet that one of those teams will have to run through. Next up are the Flash Wolves, who finished second in the LMS Summer Split. The winner of that second round game will have to face the Spring Split champions, AHQ, in the LMS Finals with a trip to Worlds on the line. Pretty nice. And looking at how AHQ stacks up against the other teams in the playoffs, they'll be the undisputed favorite no matter who they face here. In their games versus the other 3 playoff teams, they've never dipped below a 5.0 KDA. In fact, only Hong Kong Esports managed to take a single game off of AHQ. We'll see if they learned anything they can apply and go BF in the postseason later this week. And while they battle it out for the LMS title in Taiwan, playoff fever is hitting the international wildcard teams as well. Japan, Turkey, and the Commonwealth of Independent States will all be in the midst of playoffs this Saturday. In Japan, the #1 Ozone Rampage will face the #2 Detonation Focus Me in the finals this Saturday. Meanwhile, in Turkey, current favorites Besiktas and Dark Passage are expected to meet in the finals for a shot at going to Worlds. I'm sure you remember those names. And in the CIS, Hard Random leads the league as they head into their postseason. But wait, there is more, because our BF week of games does not stop there. Over in China, Edward Gaming has controlled first place for most of the split here, but QG has been parked in second place since week 4 and constantly living in EDG's shadow. After sharing first place with EDG briefly 2 weeks ago, QG are now poised to move into first once again as they go head-to-head with EDG. The teams have met once before this summer, and they split that series 1-1. It's worth noting that ties and wins have been QG's MO all split long. They are the only team in the LPL with 0 match losses. It's been an exciting split for the rookie team, who came out of China's League of Legends Secondary Pro League and are challenging the MSI champions for dominance in the region.
Edward Gaming, QG, and the rest of the LPL teams will be competing in a brand new half-gauntlet, half-bracket style playoff structure for the Chinese LPL this summer. Let's break it down really quick. So first, pretend it's a regular bracket with 3 moderate changes. First off, a quick play-in for the quarterfinal. 8 plays 7, plays 6, meets up with 5th place in the quarterfinal. This is just a seeding match. It doesn't really mean much, but it determines who plays 4th and 3rd. Otherwise, a regular quarterfinal right here after the gauntlet play-in. And then, once again, it's a reseed into the semifinals. Basically, your regular season record determines whether you face #1 or #2 into the semis.
Yeah, as soon as you get to this point, then we just go regular bracket here into semis, into the finals. And I'm glad that they finally did this. Yeah. Because the LPL teams were putting a lot of work into the regular season, and now it actually matters because you want these buys, you want these every seed matters. Plus, you get to get rid of the Oscar nights where teams were having comical but unnecessary performances.
Yeah, exactly. It was a way to, because there was 8-team quarterfinal, no real seeding differences here. It made you have a reason to lose games opposed to win them. Now, 1 through 5 all get buys. It's all pretty useful here. So I think a better format overall. And I also really like one extra thing about this is that it's a nice hybrid between the North American, European, and Chinese systems, where you still bring 8 teams to the 12 regular season LPL teams, but you still have semifinal and quarterfinal buys that you know, feels good to be rewarded for. So cool structure, if even a little bit confusing. But before we get into the Chinese playoffs themselves, the LPL regular season show must go on, and Edward Gaming and QG hold the top 2 spots in the LPL. But the battle for 3rd took place when Snake faced OMG, and this was a very fun match.
And the fun begins almost 16 minutes in here. Martin versus Shiyung down in the bottom lane. He flashes away, but
yeah, I didn't realize Ella was just around the corner. Fate's call into Rend into a first blood, 16 minutes on the dot for that kill. Starts out quite nicely. OMG trying to make the siege happen, but they're just not doing too well for themselves. Still a gold lead for Snake, and once again, in they go.
Yep, this is where the game starts to pick up speed. Another kill for Martin, and they're on the chase.
There's not enough damage left over, though. Jinx is already dead. Ezreal's pretty much out of mana. Cool can't do nearly enough. Nice double kill for you, and it's been a solid season for Snake.
Yeah, definitely this game as well. Pretty much closing it out without any problems here. Cool going for the Baron steal with his smite Ezreal, but last-ditch effort, and he wasn't able to pull it off.
You actually knocked him in with the Azir ulti, so Cool's like, all right, I guess I'll try, but not gonna happen. Game 1, 0 death game for Snake, and now, find themselves under fire. Flandre here, though, on the Fizz.
Yeah.
Amazing. He jumps,
spots the tower dive there, and he goes back in for another turret shot. That's going to give up first blood, and things going to be a lot better for OMG starting off this game. They actually pull up a pretty nice lead here, but too deep in the enemy jungle.
4,000 up, 25 minutes in. They dive, they knock down Ella, make that 5,000 goal, but suddenly they're caught between a couple of turrets here, and it's not exactly easy. Thankfully, some minions tank, but Victor and Fizz, hello backline damage, and goodbye everyone on OMG.
Flandre, I can't believe he lives here, goes right into the middle of things, and gets out on the other side. They're going to clean up leveling as well, slows upon slows. You only get 1 W active.
Yeah, good old Cinderhulk Fizz with the backline access, and everyone's looking pretty solid. Martin here doing a pretty good job in for Crystal this series. running best he can, finds North, replacement AD carries going down, and then here we go. ZZR just buying enough time with the absolute zero.
Yeah, Martin has been great for these guys. Look, doesn't even go down here. The blood-boiled lifesteal coming out, and he's able to keep himself up.
So comeback win, down 5,000 gold at one point, but still the 2-0 victory for Snake. Game 1 really convincing. Game 2 a comeback, still solid. Now, guys at home, you may be wondering, hey, who the heck is this North guy, and where's OMG Uzi? Well, Uzi was actually benched for attitude problems during the Demacia Cup, and OMG's sub North stepped into the AD role. He's actually performed quite well for himself. He got a pentakill against LGD in the Demacia Cup semifinals and has been a bit consistent.
Yeah, I mean, he's played things like Corki, Ezreal, Jinx, but it's not really about the individual play of Uzi versus the individual play of North. It's about how the team plays with these AD carries. Uzi is kind of warps the play style of a whole team, and he also has been very notorious for his relationships with past players. Yeah. And him plus Cool also was having some problems warping the shot calling. So bringing in North, they're trying to have a better team environment.
Yeah, and it's funny to see that this is actually the combo that's working, because when it was announced that Uzi was going to join OMG, it was like the all-Chinese super team. It was like such a big hyped moment, because like Cool was great, Going was great, and here's Uzi, who's maybe the best AD carry in China. I think like a shoe-in for top 3 in the world. It was like gonna make this amazing team, and it just didn't work out. They're
dropping like flies. I mean, Going's out. He went down. His play dropped off. Now Uzi's out. Cool, the last remaining one of the superstars there. Leveling has been able to come back and started performing fairly well, though. So they've got a couple of them back in there.
Yeah, so at least we're going to see OMG in the postseason. It'll be a fun thing to watch them and see if they can make another trip to World Seal. But with 3 weeks left in China's summer split, let's check out the current LPL standings. Edward Gaming, no surprise, they hold first place for their 6th straight week, with QG right behind them.
Meanwhile, OMG and Snake are tied for 3rd, LGD in 5th, and Master 3 and Invictus are tied for 6th, with Vici Gaming rounding out the current teams in the playoff positions.
Now, this is the final week of the summer split for the North American LCS, and while we already know who will be heading into the playoffs, none of the seeds have been locked in, meaning 1st through 6th place are still up for grabs. And that means more BF games in our BF week of games. Gravity's just 1 game ahead of the 3 teams tied up in 2nd place, and they'll be facing one of those teams in the first game of the week as they take on Team Impulse. A victory from Gravity would be a big step towards securing a 1st place finish, and a bye into the semifinals doesn't suck. However, if Team Impulse can take them down, it could set the stage for a 1st place showdown tiebreaker. We all love those. When these teams met earlier in the split, Gravity won despite Impulse having a higher KDA and a higher gold per minute. After that match, Gravity has what should be an easy win against the bottom of the table TDK, while Impulse will go on to face Team Liquid, one of the teams they are currently tied for 2nd with. So basically, it's a BF week of games in North America.
And we have learned that Team Impulse will be taking on Team Gravity without Xiaowei Xiao. The former LCS MVP will not be playing this weekend as TIP fights for 1st place. Obviously, a huge blow to the team.
Yeah, luckily for them, they have a substitute on their roster who plays mid lane that they just picked up to try and replace their support player. So Gate is going to be stepping in for the mid lane this week, and they've got Adrian back, which is a good thing because they are kind of in panic mode right now.
Yeah, so we'll see how that roster change does switch out for them. But while Team Impulse might have a tough time this week, last week they were firing on all cylinders and looking to continue their late split surge up against Team Solo Mid. Both these teams came into this game at 9-5. Impulse had a nice win streak coming into this one, and it continued to go quite well. Adrian getting away with an ulti, and Wild Turtle overextends into an exhaust and says goodbye.
Yep, there's the man himself in action. All right, so Turtle, he was expecting some more support here. This play, people were giving him flack for valking and flashing forward. That's because he thought the 2 globals of TSM were on the way. But Bjergsen got attacked by Xiao Xiao in the mid, and that also took out the Shen taunt. So TIP, they're able to clean up there, collapse, and Rush grabs some kills for himself.
Yeah, so they managed to hold a nice gold lead for a while, and TSM could overcommit to try to knock down champions like Impact. But guess what? The rest of Team Impulse would be able to push around. They actually knocked down multiple turrets for that tower dive, which gives actually a gold lead even further for Impulse. Let's get another fight. Great catch into Bjergsen.
Yeah, TIP, basically all game, they had the correct reaction to the double global teleports. They would just keep pushing the lanes that they were already in without trying to go catch up to where TSM were playing, and they got plenty of gold leads doing that.
Yeah, it's a very solid game by TEP overall. So let's take a look at the North American standings heading into our final week of action. The playoff teams are already locked in, meaning everybody from Gravity on down the Team Dignitas will be a part of the postseason.
Yep, Team 8, Cloud9, and Cloud9 will fight over that 7th place spot, allowing them to return to the spring season. Meanwhile, TDK already finds themselves out of contention and auto-relegated in 10th place.
So with the top of the table so very close, it's going to be a battle to see who can get those playoff buys. A really tight race here.
Yeah, and the contenders, we have Gravity probably the most favored to make it through, especially since their hardest match that was going to come up was going to be against Team Impulse, who now, as we know, going to be playing without Xiao, and so they'll have a lot less practice with Gate as the mid laner.
Yeah, the thing is, I was totally going to say that TIP was going to be that #2 team and likely to make it there, but yeah, without Xiao, I think maybe the ceiling's higher, but right now they can't be at that same level. So I'm going to say a Liquid is probably my other favorite for being a top 2 finisher here in the regular season, and then we'll see what happens in the postseason in the gauntlet.
Yeah, I actually think that CLG are going to be the top 2.
Really?
The second one, because they have an easier couple of games heading up, so I think they'll definitely be in a position to at least play the tiebreaker versus Team Liquid, and that'll be exciting either way.
All right, that'll be a bunch of fun matches then. So while those teams are battling for playoff spots, other teams will be battling to stay in the LCS without taking a trip to the promotion tournament.
So yeah, Team 8 currently have the spot, then Cloud9 a game behind them, and Enemy could still technically make it in there, but most people are going to be looking at Team 8 and Cloud9 to have an epic battle over this spot.
Yeah, and I think it's going to come down to a tiebreaker because C9 are expected to get at least one win when they play against TDK, and that probably sets us up for a 1-1 week for C9, a 0-2 week for Team 8. They're going to go head-to-head, and that's a battle that I think, and I think most people think, C9 are likely to win.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9, even with a lot of people kind of counting them out, they've gone into this like classic boxer movie training montage. They've been running through the streets in their sweatshirts. They've been flipping tires. And
pulling cars behind them.
They're looking better than ever. You know, they have high back, so they've put in a lot of hard work. That being said, though, Team 8 also pushed Gravity to the limits, and they almost were able to take a game off the top team in North America. So it's going to be a very exciting bout.
That's true. Both those teams shaping up a little bit here, so it's going to be an interesting battle to watch. C9 could even make the trip towards Worlds if they lock in 7th place. We'll see what happens. But guys, who cares about 7th place? It is all about 1st place in Primetime League's Fantasy League Legends Legendary League. Now, last week, Mark Merrill took down Chandler Riggs, Gordon Hayward took out QuickShot, Rick Fox beat the Dragons, and I wrestled victory from the arms of Dante Basco. But the past is the past. It is all about the final week of the PTL FL4, and we promised you a BF week of games, and that does not stop when it comes to fantasy. It's the true battle for 1st place as I square off no-holds-barred style against Mark Merrill. I am 1 game behind, and it's time to take the crown back. And what's in the line? Nothing, just this incredibly awesome trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Freak, the best trophy of all time. To the winner goes the spoils, and who wouldn't want this gem decorating their office, man cave, or company trophy case? I mean, honestly, something like this should be on display at a national gallery, maybe on tour, so everyone in the world could see it in person. But we thought that it would serve best as a coveted monument to triumph and competition. So the 1st place winner will take this beauty home, which either means I win myself or Mark Merrill does. He won the first time around, but it is, of course, time for revenge. So if you think I deserve the finest trophy in esports history, tweet #FreakWin to @LOLesports. Or if you hate freedom and would rather side with the monarchy, then send #MarkWin.
Yo, just a huge shout out to Trinomir. You gotta take down Freak, right? You gotta take down Freak.
You gotta beat the Super Freak.
Who records videos vertically? But do you... Whatever. Anyway, guys, let's take one last look at the wider world of LCS fantasy. First up, the studs. Nien had a demonically good game for a teammate, and he got 66.6 points for the week. His teammate Golden Glue was also a top performer, grabbing 61.8, and another mid laner rounded up the top 3. It was Team Dignitas' Shifter. That 15-minute pentakill certainly helps. 61.4 points for him, and look at that, guys. All North American players. Pretty wonderful. Then the duds, unfortunately. Enemy support Body Drop only got 4 points in his 2 losses last week. Pretty rough. Giants AD carry Audrey had 11.9, his lowest for the split. And rounding out the duds is Body Drop's mid lane teammate Inox at 12.7. Pretty rough week for those guys. We also have a couple of big alerts for you, so make sure you adjust accordingly. Forgiven will not be playing this week as he serves out his 1 week, actually 4-game suspension. Moops has been activated from their bench, so possibly look for some movement in the Gambit lineup. By the way, Moops is traditionally a support player, so either he or Gosu Pepper will likely be playing off-role and AD carry for the game, so also that weakens Gambit a bit. Also, Team Impulse mid laner Xiao Wei Xiao will be out. His replacement will be Gate. Adrian is back in as support. We've only seen Gate play 1 game. He did all right against TDK, but he's in the mid lane. He's an okay mid laner. I don't expect this to be very good for them, though, in the first week. You might want to bench some Team Impulse players. Now, also, just definitely bench Xiao Wei Xiao. Now, here are your fantasy sleepers for the split. Rocket mid laner Nuke Duck started in 9% of leagues, but he plays against Copenhagen Wolves and Origin. Wolves should be an easy win. They actually beat Origin last time as well, so maybe it's a good one. Rocket also plays the longest average game time of the EU LCS, and longer games mean more kills, so just generally good to have some Rocket players in there. Likewise, his teammate Mr. Rawless, only 8.4% of leagues start him, but we expect decent points from this week. Also, finally, though he was a dud, Audrey, the AD carry of Giants, he's only started in 15.5% of leagues, but he plays the Copenhagen Wolves. Also a, pretty good Unicorns of Love, but they could win that game. These are, again, teams that these guys have beaten already. Audrey himself did very well the last time he played against these 2 teams, so maybe that means more points here. Just some guys to round out your lineup if you don't have really good spots for these roles. That wraps up the Fantasy LCS. Good luck to all of you out there in that final week. And, much like me in the PTL FL4, SKT has been dominating all split long, but after starting the summer in first place, KT Rolsters looking to reclimb the table as they took on the undefeated leaders. Best of 3 between SK Telecom T1 and KT. I mean, these are 2 of the biggest esports franchises in Korean esports, and it's quite a match.
Yeah, SKT on a ridiculous streak at the moment, so KT got a lot of work ahead of themselves. But with the Kog'Maw here, Arrow starts it off on the right note.
Yeah, they already had 2 kills leading in, but this champ select is all about this Kog'Maw from Arrow. A bunch of supports to keep him alive, and boy, does he do well.
Yep, Marin gets caught here, knocked up, and Faker comes to try and save him, but the work has been done.
The work has been done. A quick pickup onto Marin, 8-1 in kills, a 4,000 gold lead, and what a great taunt right there. It's going to make it even harder, and the chase down, and goodbye bang.
Yeah, the chase not over here. They go until they find the Ezreal deep in the jungle.
This is the fight for Dragon number 5. SKT had just won a very small fight leading into this one, but Bangi cannot secure the Dragon. Quick steal comes over, and score means Dragon 5, and that means goodbye SKT.
Yeah, even though KT at this point had so many extra kills, the gold was so close, and this was the fight that really broke it. Dragon number 5, plus being able to chase down SKT here.
There we go. It's going to be the game right there, and the invincible Kog'Maw works out. Dragon 5, even though KT got a Baron off of a team fight, just does not matter right here. So, all right, 1-0. Win streak broken in best of, in individual games, but how about some comebacks? How about Wolf goes in for Nagne?
Every time I see Wolf on Alistar, I fear for their opponents. Faker here going to be able to pick up the kill as well. Nagne going back in for unnecessary counterplay there.
He queued for a slow. I think he stopped for an auto attack as well. That was unneeded. So Faker, how about you get dived? And how are you going to do it? Like that. How about I just dodge the hook?
Yeah,
beautiful
and then
stuff.
You're deep at the turret here. Faker on AP Ezreal going to punish that one successfully. His first attempt at the Runeglaive Ezreal going very well for himself.
A nice 2-man true shot barrage. Arrow forced a jump away. It gets just out of the ulti from Gnar, but who even cares? The gold lead's already 8,000. Make that 9,000. Make that 10,000. And goodbye. Everyone's dead.
Yeah, Twitch not working so well for Arrow in this game, and SKT able to gain a pretty easy game number 2 here.
All right, so 1-1, but maybe Game 3 still goes KT's way. Maybe.
They can do it. Can they do it,
SKT finally loses the best of 3, a regular season match, but how about first blood on a score? All right, maybe it's a bit better. Wolf's got 400 gold for himself.
Just the edge of the gravity field there. He almost got out. Flashes down the wall here, and he gets chased by Bangi.
Nicely done with the knockup. So now it's a turret dive, Pickaboo under turret. Who's going to pull aggro? Actually, Bang will, but it's going to be all right. He takes 1 turret shot, walks away cleanly. What a great start to the game for SKT.
Yeah, 4 minutes in, 5 people down bottom. That is coordination.
Well, 3-1 in kills. A couple of comebacks had happened, but still not a lot to do. Faker on his, at this point, signature victory. So good at this champion. He's got ridiculous farm at all times, and he's just carrying the team fights.
Yeah, and Bang on Lucian there, looking pretty good for himself, too. Champion gets a bad rap. Here he gets knocked by the Azir ultimate pretty deep, and he will end up going down, but SKT, pretty good hold on the fight anyway.
Yeah, solo kill from Faker, chases down, makes one run away, kills off Arrow. He's going to go in for Peekaboo. That's going to be a quick triple kill for Faker. Pretty beautiful stuff. SKT closes one out very solidly, so a bad game one, but a very good game two.
Yeah, just a little stumble there for SKT, and they right the ship quickly.
All right, so with 3.5 weeks left of the Korean LCK, let's check out the standings over in Korea. And SK Telecom T1 continues their dominance, now at 14-0. If they win one more match, they'll guarantee a spot at the World Championship.
And don't forget about the KOO Tigers. They also won their match, keeping them in second place.
So while SKT continues their undefeated run, let's turn to the impossible pro plays from around the world. Or as a plethora of players can now call it, the Penta. Coming in at number 5 was Chaos Latin Gamers' Reggie with the pentakill in the Latin America South Finals.
Si logra mitigar el varón, al menos con eso ya lo cumplió. Ha caído el primero, podría caer el segundo. Nos han terminado de llevar. ¡No te lo creo! El varón se acaban de llevar al tirador. ¡Qué momento para aparecer! Bear. ¡Uy, no te lo creo! Un desplazamiento de la sombra. Suri hace la finta legendaria. Ignición encima. Podrían caer todas las fuerzas de Furious Gaming. No te lo voy a creer. Queda solo uno en pie. Ese acelerador se va a venir. El exterminio y el penta. A ver si ahí está. El cuádruple está ahí mismo. A un solo golpe y último impacto. El encanto que le falla. Ahí está. ¡Pentakill! Para Reggie. Bien jugado por parte de los chicos de la escuadra KRG. Hizo el milagro. Casi él por sí solo.
Charging in at number 4, it was Wolf with the moves on Alistar.
And what is SKT going to do? They're going to break apart just a little bit. Bard actually on his own right now. That is a bit dangerous. Pops the fish early. That's one less damage tool that he has. He's got a frozen heart though, so he's quite tanky. Whoa! With a huge knock-up, and that's going to be it straight into the gravity field of Chaos Storm. Faker just popping down those abilities. What a beautiful CC chain. Marin just baiting them into grouping up, and Wolf just absolutely delivering with the flash.
At number 3, Power of Evil picked up a pentakill of his own with his Runeglaive Orianna.
They've got to make something happen here. This is the time it counts. Diamond going in, going low, however, and absolutely demolished. Gilius now is going to go for the dunk, but he does manage to grab Cabochard before he falls down as well. The Unicorns, they're going to try to end this one right here. A quadra kill just like that for the Orianna. Can he secure it up? Yes, he can. A pentakill for Power of Evil.
Storming in at number 2, Ryu came out the victor in this 1v1 with Soren.
Copenhagen Wolves actually get first blood in half of the games they play, but it seldom gets to more. This time round, Soren, he's gone all in. Chaos Storm and a gravity stun. Ryu, has he outplayed the Chaos Storm and Windians? Ryu!
And our number 1 play this week was Gamsu's amazing ult to set up Shifter's pentakill.
Gamsu with a massive Gnar ultimate right across the bow is the REQ, and this could be the exact fight Dignitas wanted. A quadra kill for Shifter. Red buff is on. Charms up. Good flash by Altec with the flash Q. The pentakill for Shifter!
A 14-minute pentakill for Shifter. Now all 7 of Team Dignitas' kills. What just happened right there?
Almost a full 5 pentakills. We're going to get there. Remember to slap a hashtag the Penta on the pro plays that you think deserve to be highlighted here, and I will personally make sure they get due consideration. Before we wrap things up, we want to let you know that Primetime League will be taking a break next week, but we'll return with all the pomp and hype that you've come to expect on August 5th. And that does it for yet another episode of Primetime League, but my court-appointed officer is here to remind me that we're not quite done yet. So let's pull out all the stops and go on a magical journey in our last hit.
He's so dead. He's incredibly dead right now.
No, it's Bard, okay? Bard thrives in the jungle.
Doesn't Lee Sin thrive in the jungle? This is like literally his environment. Here we go. Here's the... Watch this.
Oh, shoot. Try it again.
Do it again. Do it again. Yay!
Smoothie gets his game of Ring Around the Rosie, and Impulse get their final kill.